Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After an adventure in a fantasy world yesterday, then Game 7 of a hockey series, and a session up in a bomber, we're back to the links today for what should be a much easier day, as this time we're debuting a new golf game on the channel, as we play Inside the Cup Golf by Inside Sports Games. No bonus points here. We're guessing that this one is a golf simulator. And this one, as mentioned, is also by Inside Sports Games. So this one uses a black D20 and a white D20, then a black D10 and a yellow D10. We'll explain how all of that works over the course of the round. We are, of course, going to be going to Augusta National. I've got all 18 holes printed off here. We'll do a quick flyover of each hole. And I've got an arrow token here that I'm going to use to mark where I'm at on the hole. And the golfer we're taking out is, of course, a pretty good one in Tiger Woods. We've got a section for his drive card. That'll be the distance, then the grade, then the section that it lands in. I'll explain what each section's for as it becomes relevant. So I think we are all set to get into this game. So let's jump into our first round of golf for Inside the Cup Golf. We are looking at a 445-yard par 4, which is almost a straight shot from the looks of it, very slight dog leg. So we'll have to be a little bit careful on that. Let's see, select one golfer, determine the pin placement. All right, so we need a D4 for that. I can actually grab one of the sets of the dice out of the advent calendar, and we'll have the next entry for that later today. So here's our D4 that we're going to roll for the pin location. Let's see what pin we have. Let's see, we are aiming at pin 2 today. That can leave the shot. So now that we know we're aiming for pin 2, we're all set for our drive. So we are going to be down at the tee. Now for rolling the dice, I'm also still learning this game. So we're going to roll everything. And then we start off with the black die. That's based on the drive range of the card. So in this case, we ended up with an A drive. So for drives, each hole is broken up into A, B, C, D, and F grades. So because of the 17, we ended up with an A. On the white die, we did hit it left because we rolled a 3 on the white die. Black D10 is a 9, so that'll land here in the rough. And then we don't need the yellow die on the drives. So that's going to be A, left, rough. All right, and then setting up our next shot, we're going to be using a long iron with a +1 modifier, I believe. Let me just see. I thought there was a section here for roughs, maybe not. So if the golfer does not lay up, use the club listed and using the approaching the green. All right, so let's see. There's supposed to be something in here about the next shot. Actually, maybe there's an example in here. So driving section, broken into left, middle, right. Okay. Tee box shows required club to use along with any modifiers or advantages. All right, so since we're laying up, we are approaching the green. So this is we have to use a long iron, presumably on a +1. So we're not doing a layup shot. So it looks like we're rolling all 4 dice for this one. All right, nothing special there from the looks of it. All right, exceptional, nope. So nothing there. Approaching the shots using the club shot. Use the club listed in the section of the course. So we're looking at a long iron on the first hole and a +1 on that. So it's is greater than the golfer's miss rating for the shots club. So for a long iron, we've got a miss rating of a 5. So since we're using a long iron, the 19 +1 on the black die is a 20. So we do hit the green on that one. Here we go. So we hit the green. Then the white die, we use that to determine our proximity to the pin based on if the shot was taken from anywhere except the tee or the fairway. So we took it from the rough, which means we're modifying the white D20 by adding the golfer's recovery proximity rating. So recovery proximity rating, is that refer to the section on the golfer's card below the miss rating using the shots club? What? Hold on. Okay, so this is a little bit confusing. So if the green is hit, which it is, actually, hold on. All right, so we're obviously not putting yet. All right, so we did hit the green. Wait a second. Approach shots should be modified by any shot and by the golfer's recovery modifier. Let's see if that's explained on recovery proximity rating is a 0, so there's nothing to worry about there, which means the 20 did hit the green on the black die. Then the white die, if the green is hit, uses to determine the proximity to the pin. If the shot was taken from anywhere except the tee or the fairway, so that's and then subtracting the white D10, so that'll take us down to a 0. The distance given on this row, okay, so that's probably based on the roll. So 20, so that was a 3. By adding the recovery proximity rating, which is a 0, and subtracting the yellow die. So that's the 8, which gives us a 0. So based on the 5, looks like we're 20 feet away. We're 20 feet away from the pin. We are up here from the looks of it. If I'm understanding this correctly, of course. And then we're putting. So we've got a 20-foot putt. And we will... Okay, so we're 20 feet away, which means we'll be using these numbers. We're not going to worry about any kind of special strategy when it comes to putting. Because for a first game, I'm not going to do anything crazy here. So we'll roll everything. Combine the black dice by multiplying the black D20 by 10 and adding the black D10. Okay, so we said multiply the black D20 by 10, which will give me 180. Add a 0, so that's 180. Okay. So based on the distance that we were, which shows the distance we were 20 feet away, and we read down the column, which shows the distance the golfer's putting from on top, 16 to 20. If the combined black die roll is less than that, which it's not, the golfer would 3-putt. If it's greater than the 3 and less than or equal to the 2, then we 2-putt. Otherwise, since it's a 180, we did sink it. That's a 1-putt. We're 1 under on the day. Okay, that was a little bit involved, and now we've got a par 5, 575-yard hole, which we've got to look at here. Use the putting section. course putt modifier. I forgot to... I'm not going to... Let's see, what is this course putt modification? I was not paying attention to that on this hole. So some holes are harder to putt. Looks like there wasn't anything there from 16 to 20 feet away. Shows a number in parentheses. There's a red adjustment. The roll is in the listed range, which it's not from the looks of it. Shows a number in parentheses. Okay. All right, that's probably going to be a little bit more. That's going to take me a little bit of comprehension, I think. So now we've got our par 2 575 yarder. We've got a dog leg that we can probably reach in 2. So there's our look at the actual hole. We are at the tee, so we're just going to grip it and rip it. All right, that's a 17, so that'll be in grade A. Then the white D20 is an 8. So we'll end up in the middle on that one. And then I don't think we need black D10. No. So we're just going to land in A in the middle. And now it looks like we have to lay this one up. So what would the modifiers be? So any drive that gives you the next club to use with a percent forces a layup. So we can either use a short iron or the FW, which is a fairway club, but we have to add 3 to that roll. I think for that, given that this is a par 5, I think we're just going to take the layup. So short iron, layup. All right. Okay, so we check so the roll should be modified by any shot modifier listed. There isn't one listed there. So we're looking at if the modified roll is greater than the golfer's miss rating for the shot's club. So we used a short iron on a layup. The roll is greater, so we actually lay it up. So we have a successful layup. Then on the white D20, 4 rows based on the roll. So we end up on the fairway, and we're using a short iron next. So we got a short iron, and now we're approaching the green. All right, so let's see what happens on this approaching the green shot. Let's see, that's a 5, so nothing happened on the black die. Standard shot resolution, so it should be modified by any modifier, which there is no modifier. Then if it's greater than the golfer's miss rating for a short iron, which is a 3, so we do hit the green. So now we need to figure out where we're at. Okay, so we hit the green. The white D20 is a 12. So going down for the short iron, we find the number where it is, I believe. Modify the white. So it was taken from the fairway, so we don't have a modifier there. Starting from miss, move down row by row until the modified D20 is less than or equal to the number. So the distance given on this row is how close. So we're 11 to 15 feet away. Okay. So now we've got an 11 to 15 foot putt for birdie. So we've got another putt coming up. All right, 11 to 15 also has no roll modification. It might be a little bit hard to see up there. All right, so multiply the black D20 by 10, 30, and add the black D10. That's a 38 from 11 to 15. Looks like we are going to two-putt the green. So that'll end up with us being even, and we're still at 1 under on the day. Hopefully I'm not making too much of a mess of this. That's it for the second hole. Our third hole is actually a par 4 350. So looks like we've got to worry about a few bunkers on the hole, and we got a bit of a slope that we got to worry about, but hopefully nothing too crazy. And something to note on this hole is that an accuracy rolls of 1 and 20 are considered in the midsection. Okay, so we've got a fairway club that we're using on this one. Okay. So that's our drive as a fairway. Okay, 4 is going to be a grade C. So not as good a drive as Tiger would have liked. 20 on the white D20 is going to be considered mid. So we get a C mid shot out of that. Then we're going to be looking at a short iron +1. So there's no layup section, which means we are going for the green. So let's see what happens when we're going for the green. All right, that's a 4. So that's just a standard shot. So 4 + 1 is a 5 using a short iron. And we have managed to hit the green again. We managed to hit the green, then a 13 on a short iron, where it's going to be another 11 to 15 feet away. So we are on the green, and now we're putting. And we're going for birdie on this one. No modifiers on any of the holes up here. All right, 120 + 9 is 129. Any kind of modifier needed on that? Not on this hole. So, okay, so that's a 129. We were at 11 to 15. So once again, Tiger's going to two-putt. Go down to even and 1 under on the day. Looking at our fourth hole, we've got another 240. We've got a fairway putt. Actually, this is a par 3 240. All of them have a number in parentheses. So this looks like a harder to putt green. So I will need to be worried about that. We've got a fairway +1 on the drive. So let's see what we get here. It looks like we use the shots toward the green and par 3 tee off. So we're using the approaching the green procedure. And that's a fairway +1. That's an 8 + 1 is a 9. So for the first time, we actually missed the green. So we are around the green this time, which I've got to see that procedure. So this is where we use the white D20 to determine how badly we missed. So just looking here, refer to the section above the miss rating using the club. So fairway is a 10. Looks like we're going to be around the green. All right, so around the green off. Use the black D10 to determine which section on the outer circle the green lands. So around the green. Okay, so around the green looks like 0 and 9, which that is a 9 on the black die. We are, so use this roll. Sections are labeled in red and start from long of the green, followed by left, then right, and finally short. So it looks like 9 on around the green. Wait a minute. Looks like 9 is actually short. So we miss it there. And then the yellow D10 is a 6. So we are short. So we're short fairway. And for this one, we've got a pitching wedge +1. So we've got a second shot where we are approaching the green again. All right, that's a 14, +1 is 15. So with a pitching wedge, we definitely hit the green. This time we're on the green. And now the white D20, 18 on a pitching wedge. We're going to end up less than 5 feet away. And now we're putting. All right, that's a 90, 98. So less than 5 feet, we sink it. And manage to save par. Still 1 under on the day. And over to the 5th hole. Hold on, I forgot to look at the putt modifiers. So hang on. Let's see, some courses are harder to putt. Okay, shown on the hole distance. That was less than 5 putt. If the roll 5 putt, less than if the roll is within the listed range. What's the number? So if the roll, okay, so if the roll, there's a number in parentheses on a red background, hard to putt green. Okay, so if it's in red, it's a hard to putt green. Then if the white D20 is a 1, which it's not, we would add a putt. Whereas if the number is not in parentheses in green, it's an easier green. So if the white D20 is in the range, we reduce the number of putts. Okay, that makes sense. So we still 1 putt the 4th hole. And now we're on the 5th hole, which is a par 4, 455 yarder. Looks like we've got a dog leg off to the left here, apparently uphill. And looks like we're going to have some problems on a potential long bunker if we're not careful. So let's grab the driver and we'll let it rip. Five is going to be an absolute, that'll be a C drive for Tiger. Let's see. Then the white D20 on a C is going to be 4, is going to be left. Uh-oh. Then the black D10, 2, we're going to end up in the rough. That could have been a lot worse, though. So we've got a long iron that we're modifying +1. Looks like we're on and approaching the green already. So we're long iron +1. Actually, I believe the +1 there modifies the... Does it modify the roll? The roll should be modified by any shot modifier. Okay, so it does modify the shot. All right, that's a 3 + 1 is a 4. So on a long iron of a 5, we missed the green. So now we're looking at where we missed. So the white D20 is a 15, which on a long iron, we are around the green. Then the black D10 tells us exactly where. 5, we're going to end up short. And then the yellow D10 is a 0, so we're going to end up short on the fairway. So we're ending up short fairway. Now our third shot is coming from a pitching wedge that we're adding +1 to. So we're trying to approach the green again. That's a 9 + 1 is a 10 on a pitching wedge. We hit the green. Then since we hit the green, we use the 15 on a pitching wedge. We're 6 to 10 feet away. And now we're putting 6 to 10. We have to be aware of a modifier once again that if we roll a 1 on the white D20, we add another putt. So we're 6 to 10. That's an 18 times 10 is a 180 plus 7 is 187. So we would one putt. The white die is a 2, which means we don't, so we sink it there. So that's a one putt. We're still even and one under on the day. Our sixth hole is a par 3, and we've got modifiers all over the place here on putts. So we're using a middle iron -1. And we're approaching the green already. So a middle iron -1. That's a 14, -1 is 13. We have definitely hit the green. Then the white die. Then the white die, since we hit the green, is an 8. So we drop down. We're 26 to 35 feet away. Right, so we are there. So now we roll for our putting. 26 to 35 feet away. That's a 2 times 10 is 20 plus 4 is 24. So we are going to end up 2-putting the green. That's a 9, which won't affect us anything there. So 2-putt. We're even, 1 under on the day. Seventh hole is a beast of a hole, par 4, 450. Looks like we've got to be very careful how we play this, because we've got bunkers right in front of the green from the looks of it. So yeah, got to be very careful on that one. We are starting with the driver, of course. And we'll let this one fly. Wow, that's a 2. That'll be a C drive. That'll be a C drive. Then 13 is going to be middle. And the black D10 is going to be fairway. So C mid fairway. Our next shot is a middle iron -1. There's no layup on this hole, so we don't have to worry about that. Looking at a middle iron, going for the green. That's a 10 on a middle iron, so we definitely hit the green. Then on the 20, oh wow, what a shot by Tiger Woods. So we are less than 5 feet away. Very nicely done there. And then after we hit the green, we proceed right to putting, so we won't need that. And since we are less than 5 feet away, no modifiers, which means we're going for birdie on this putt. Wow, that's a 1 times 10 is 10 plus 3 is 13. So we are 2-putting that, with an opportunity to make up some ground, and instead Tiger gets up there in 2 and then 2-putts the green. And our par 8, or our 8th hole, par 5, 570 yards. We've got quite a beast on this one. So we've got a bunker here that we need to be careful to avoid, but otherwise it's mostly just going to be a long shot from the looks of it. So let's grab the driver, and we'll just let it fly. All right, a 14 is going to be a B drive. Let's see, 15 is going to be in the middle, and it looks like we don't need anything else there, so B mid. which gives us a choice either for a middle iron to go a -1 and into the layup, or we can try to play through that, or we can try to play through the, or we can try to play past the layup section and go for the green at a -1. I think we'll take the layup. All right, so we're using our middle iron. That's a 3, -1 is a 2, so we definitely made a mess of that layup. Yes, so we miss it left or right. 4 sections showing where the golfer missed. So we missed the layup. Looks like. So then we use the white D20 to determine that. So we're missing that right. Miss right. And has a range of 5 rolls in it. All right, so based on the white D10, or based on the white D20, we missed that in the fairway. So this will be a short iron -1 for our third shot. Let's see what Tiger can do with this one. All right, that's an 8. -1 is 7, so I believe we are approaching the green at this point. All right, so 8 -1 is 7 on a short iron, so we did hit the green. 3 is going to be a 26 to 35 yard putt, or 26 to 35 foot putt. Fortunately, on this hole, there are no modifiers, so we're not worried about any of that. And we have our 26 to 35 foot putt. Trying to make birdie on this one. I don't think it's likely, but let's see, 26 to 35. We would need to get above a 194 combined roll. So we'd pretty much have to roll a natural 20 on the black D20. Which that is not. That's a 110, 114, 26 to 35. We're going to end up 2-putting that. Tiger's 1 under on the day. Got all kinds of modifiers here. So on the 9th hole, it's a par 4, 460. Looks like we've got a sloping green. There's often drive down the right side, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on the hole. We'll start off with the driver and we'll let it fly. That's a 9. That'll be good for a B grade drive. Then a 12 is going to be mid. So not bad, not bad. Then we're looking at a middle iron +1. We are going for the green already at this stage. I'll catch up with that after I get done with this hole. So we're looking at a middle iron +1 approaching the green. That's an 11 +1 is 12, so we definitely hit the green. Then we need the white D20, which is going to be a 3. Wow, that's going to be a 35, greater than 35 foot putt. Which we definitely can single putt, but we need high rolls on both of our black dice. Let's see what we can get here, though. It'd be nice if I could stop dropping dice, but we are currently on the green. We're a long way away from the pin, though. We can bring the hole. There we go. That will not help with that at all. 78 means we are 2-putting the green. We are 2-putting that one. So 2-putt, even, and 1 under. And now before we go through the 10th hole, I'll catch up on a small little break here. Just to check my phone. Okay, cool. Looks like things are moving right along on the day. Okay. Just had to check on a couple things. All right, now we're checking out our 10th hole. We've got a modifier here at, oh wait. I think this had a modifier as well from 35 feet. So we actually end up 3-putting that green, which means we 3-putt, so we're +1, which means we're actually even on the day. On our 10th hole here, there's a par 4, 495. We've got quite the beast of a hole that we're looking at here. And a modifier on putts if we're 35 feet or more away. We've got a fairway shot that we've got a fairway drive that we're going for. Accuracy rolls of 1 and 20 are considered mid. Okay, that is good to know. So let's see what we get here. All right, that is a 19. That'll be good for an A drive for sure. 10 on an A drive is going to be considered mid. So a very nice drive there as Tiger lets that one boom down the fairway, right down the middle, and now we've got a middle iron shot that we're looking at, as we're approaching the green. All right, that's an 11 on a middle iron. We have hit the green. And then the 4 means we're longer than 35 feet away. So that is going to have a modifier on the putt range. So we need big rolls here, and preferably not a 1 on the white D20. $16 is almost big enough, but not quite. So 160, 163, that'll be good for a 2-putt. And that is it on the 10th hole. 11, we've got another rough green, but now we got our first presentation of water hazards. As we can see, a bunch of those around the green, also if we miss. So we need to be very careful of those. All right, we are at the tee, so we will be driving. Let's let it fly. Excuse me. 15 will be good for a B drive. 9 on a B drive is going to be mid, so we're in the fairway on that one. Then we've got a long iron +1. So we are already approaching the green. That's an 11 on a long iron, +1 is 12. We definitely will hit the green. Then a 15 on a long iron means we're 11 to 15 feet away. So we've got an 11 to 15 foot putt, which we need to be aware of. If we roll a 1 on the white die, we'll be +1 on the number of putts it takes. All right, a 9 times 10 is 90, 93 from 11 to 15. That'll still be a 2-putt because the white D10 or the white D20 is an 18, so that's still a 2-putt. And we're still even par on the day. Yikes. Par 3, 155. This could very easily end up being a hole where we do a lot of swimming. But let's see what we can do with Augusta's shortest par 3. So we've got a middle iron that we're using, and we're off. Middle iron is a 7. So we did manage to hit the green on that one, since we were approaching the green on a par 3. Then a 10 is going to be a 21 to 25 foot putt. Let's see, we do have a possibility of being able to hole this out, but we need to see what happens on our putt roll. We need to be, again, fairly high on the D20, on the black D20. But no modifiers this time. That is not going to be high enough. 11 times 10 is 110, plus 3 is 113. From 21 to 25 feet away, we are going to end up 2-putting that. We are getting a lot of 2-putts out of this one. That's it for the 12th hole. Now we're on to the 13th, and this one's a beast, as we can see. So yeah, looks like we've got quite a bit of water on this hole. We've got some on the drive that we've got to be aware of, a little bit on the layup, and then quite a bit as we're starting to approach the green. So we need to be very careful on that. Plus, we've got putt modifications all along the top here. So while we do want to grab the driver and just let it rip, we do need to be careful on what we actually do with this one. Let's see what happens. All right, the 12 will be a B drive. That'll be a B drive. 11 is going to be in the mid. So we go B mid. All right, and now we have to, actually, no, it looks like from here, we're actually getting clear of the layup, so we're going for a fairway shot plus 2. Because the shot doesn't have the percent sign marked on it. So we are trying to approach the green on this one. Uh-oh, that's a 1. So that means we have a duffed shot. So we're going to add a stroke and try again. So now we're on our third shot. Actually, we're on our. So basically, this will be our third shot from the same spot. Trying the same thing again. Okay, that's a bit more like it. 14 plus 2 is 16. So we will hit the green this time. With a fairway, 13 is going to be 26 to 35 feet away. So now we're on our, so that was 2, 3. This is our 4th shot now. And we're looking for birdie. Wait. So, hold on. So it essentially missed it, so it counted as a stroke. That was our 3rd shot from the same spot. So yeah, we're on our 4th shot now. So we're looking at a 26 to 35 foot putt. We do have to be careful because a 1 to 2 on the white die on the white D20 means we're adding 1 to the number of putts. So we're 26 to 35 feet. That's a 9 times 10 is 90, plus 4 is 94, which means we are 2-putting. So despite all of that, we make par. And that's the 13th hole in the books. 14th hole, for once, no water to worry about on this one. Looks like a pretty standard, looks like it's terraced surface that we've got to worry about here. Okay, so now we've got our driver ready to go. And we're going to let it fly. That's an 8. That'll be good for a C drive. Then an 18 on a C drive. That's going to be over to the right. And a 0 is going to be fairway. So C right fairway. This will be a middle iron -1 shot, as we are going for the green. So middle iron -1. That's a 1, so we have another duffed shot. This is our third shot from the same spot. That's an 18. That should more than likely get us to the green. And a middle iron will. 17 is going to put us 6 to 10 feet away. So now we're trying to save par on a 6 to 10. Let's see how we do with this one. Wow, that's an absolutely terrible putt. Does anything especially problematic happen when the black D20 is a 1? Probably not. So that's a 13 on a 6 to 10 foot putt. Wow, we just barely missed 3 putting it, but we are 2 putting. Which on a par 4 is going to be good for a bogey. So we're 1 over on the day. Yikes. 5th hole, or 15th hole, I should say. It's got a very real possibility to do some serious swimming. We've also got some putt modifications at the longer distances we need to be aware of. So we'll grab the driver and we'll let it fly. Once I get the dice out, that is. Oops. As my black D10 goes flying on me, hopefully I don't need it, but I probably will. 9 will be just barely good for a B drive. 19 is going to be over to the right, so we do need that. And then a 6 is, going to be in the trees. So B, right trees. Which means we have to go for a middle iron -1 layup. Okay. So now we're okay. All right, so that's a 1, yikes. On a layup shot, I believe, okay, so it looks like a 1 is just going to be a terrible shot. So we failed the layup on the middle iron. Now we've got to figure out where we missed. And that uses the white D20 to determine that. 9 causes us to miss right. So missed right. So this is our third shot, trying a layup shot where we're using a short iron -1. But we are going for the green. So this is our third shot. That's a 9 on a short iron. -1 is an 8. We will hit the green. Then an 8 is going to put us 16 to 20 feet away. That's on the white D20. So we're looking at a 16 to 20 foot putt. Somehow putting for birdie. Needs to be fair. We need to be fairly high on the black D20 though. Which that is not going to be high enough. 61 on 16 to 20 is going to be a 2 putt. The white die doesn't matter because we were 16 to 20 and there's no modifier on that. So that's a 2 putt. We're even, still 1 over on the day. 16th hole is a par 3 170, and we've got water for days coming up, so we need to be very careful with this middle iron shot. Middle iron -1, and we're already approaching the green. All right, that's a 12, so with a middle iron, that'll definitely get us on the green. 14 is going to be an 11 to 15 foot putt. So we're already putting for birdie. On an 11 to 15, again, the D20 needs to be fairly high. And we do have a modifier from 11 to 15, but that won't matter here because that's a 100, 105. On an 11 to 15, we are two-putting. That seems like a lot of two-putting that we've been doing. I think pretty much every hole that I've had today, except for 1, 4, 5, and 9, I've two-putted. 1, 4, and 5, I've one-putt, and 9, I three-putted. Which is a little bit annoying, but looks like par 4 is another fairly long 440. So that's what we're looking at there. We've got a couple of bunkers as we're heading toward the green that we need to be worried about. So we'll see what we can do with those as Tiger's going to grab the driver and let it fly. We also, well, we'll talk about the modifications in a minute, but 5 is going to be good for a C drive. 8 on a C is going to be mid. So we're looking at a middle iron -1. And we are approaching the green. $19 on a middle iron -1 is 18, so we definitely hit the green. Then a 5 on a middle iron is going to put us 26 to 35 feet away. All right, so here's where we talk about the modification rules because we see numbers in green up here, not in parentheses. So now if the white D20 is a 20, we subtract a putt from what it takes based on what we resolve. So 26 to 35 foot putt away. Let's see what we get. All right, that's not going to do it. So 60, 62 from 26 to 35. We will two-putt that, which will be a par. And we're still 1 over as we're heading into our last hole on the day. So the 18th hole is a par 4, 465. Once again, we've got a couple sand traps that we need to be worried about heading toward the green and also on the drive. So we'll need to be careful about those. But let's go ahead and grab the driver and we'll let it rip. And we've got some putt modifications once we get onto the green. That's an 18. That'll be good for an A drive. 10 on an A drive is going to be mid, and 9 is going to be on the fairway. Then we've got a middle iron coming off the fairway, and we are approaching the green on that. A 3 on a middle iron is going to have us missing the green. Then the white D20 is a 10. So that will put us around the green. And then on around the green, we use the black D10 to determine where we land. So we're around the green, so we're 8 over here. So we're in the fairway. So that's a chip shot. And I don't think I've done a chip shot yet in this round. So chip, we roll all 4 dice. Okay. So let's see what we get here. It looks like we handle this in the same way as we handle the putt. That's a 9 times 10 is a 90 plus 6 is 96. So on a chip shot, that means we have the possibility, so the shot's on the green, but we need to putt from 20 feet away. So hit the green, putt from 20 feet. So it looks like we're going into that procedure. So now we're trying to make a putt here to save par. So 20 is in the 16 to 20 column. So we'll roll for our putt. Once again, we need this to be, the black D20 to be fairly high. 19, that'll, well, let's roll the black D10. That was a 19, it just got knocked. So 199 is going to be enough to save par. That's a 1. That's even. So we're going to end up 1 over on the day. Let's see, we had a total of 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 32, 3 putts. And that is Inside the Cup Golf. It's actually a pretty, one of the 3 I've played, it's probably the most abstracted, I would say, of the 3 games. I played APA so far. I played APA Golf, ASG Golf, and Inside the Cup Golf now. I would say of the 3, this one is probably the most, I don't want to say simplistic of the 3. Well, actually I kind of do, because there's a lot that's been abstracted, where it tells you, where it really tells you, okay, this is what you're doing next on each, it gives you the club that you're doing next. So it takes a lot of the strategy, I think, out of the game. That being said, this is by far, well, I would say this is the cheapest of the 3. It's definitely a toss-up between ASG and Inside the Cup of which one's cheaper, especially if you go with the PDFs for everything, which is what I did. I went with the PDFs and printed a round of golfers, and I got all the courses on PDF. Plus, that is actually something I really like too about Inside the Cup and having the PDFs available for all of that, is you can actually print out the courses so you can make notes on it. Hey Jester, I see you're at work, all good. I'm just finishing up, getting cleaned up, and talking a little bit about my thoughts about Inside the Cup Golf. So, yeah, it is a quick and easy game to play as Inside the Cup. I do find, though, that like I was talking about a little bit earlier, I do find that it seems like it's abstracting some of the strategy of golf a little bit, where it takes some of that out. It's different and depends on what I want to do with it. Yeah. So it doesn't really have as much of that shot by shot flavor where in APA or ASG, you're really thinking through, okay, here's the situation I'm in, how do I want to get out of it? Where it's actually kind of done a lot of the thinking for you by saying, okay, here's the shot, here's the club you're going to use for your next shot. So if you want something where you want to get the feel of golf, but you don't want to do too much thinking, Inside the Cup can be a great way to get that itch scratched for you. On the other hand, if you really want that technical playing around with the golf games, you probably want APA or ASG Golf. Anyway, don't be alarmed. I'm going to zoom my camera back out, because we are going to be cracking the advent calendar here in just a second, now that I've got everything cleaned up. So now let's bring the advent calendar into shot. So for our advent calendar, today is the 10th. So we want this entry right here. So let's see what our die for today is. APA and ASG mostly do that as well. You can only really use one club each shot because of the distance it hits the ball. I can see that in a way, and I kind of can't. Where on one hand, because of the distance it hits the ball, where what I'm finding, at least with those two, is you can kind of modify it depending on your special course rules, where if it's a situation of, okay, maybe you've got wind or something, so maybe you want to put a little bit less club on it, or the reverse effect where I'm hitting into the wind, so I maybe need to put a little more club on it. for me at least, and maybe this is still being early in sports gaming, each golfer hits the ball a different distance, so there is some difference. Yeah, there's a little bit of difference. I don't know. Maybe it's just me still, again, maybe still being new to sports and golf games and overthinking it a little bit, but it seems there's a little more strategy on APA and ASG than inside the cup. But I'm rambling on that, and we'll have more to talk about that during Pinot with Phoenix. So let's see what our die for today is in the advent calendar. Looks like we have the course rules might adjust the distance of the ball and such. That's true. So here we've got the white and green D4, where the symbol being up is a 4. Otherwise, there's the number face to determine which one's up. And as always, just to make sure, that does go through the tower just fine. So that is good to know. Most of these dice will probably be fine, but I like to put it through the tower test just to make my mind feel at ease. Anyway, after that slight ramble, that will do it for this playthrough of Inside the Cup Golf. Later this afternoon, we're going to have our first football game of the month as we play Glory Days Pro Football from Sideline Strategy Games. There will probably be something later this evening, but I haven't decided what that something is going to be yet, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.